Hello, Professor and class. My name is Elyse. With Antoinette, Gregory, Gabriel, and Ahwarah, we'll be analyzing the case study Lululemon, turning lemons into lemonade. Entrepreneur Chip Wilson started a yoga-inspired apparel company for men and women out of a yoga studio in Vancouver, Canada. After 2 years, the first Lululemon storefront opened. The vision was to create a community where people could learn and discuss the physical aspects of a healthy living, mindfulness, and living a life of possibilities. Since launching, with the help of their brand ambassadors and the community, Lululemon expanded to fill athletic apparel market for both runners and cyclers and any individuals staying active and training. But the yoga roots remain strong. Every week, their storefronts and showrooms open to the community. They unroll yoga mats and turn their retail space into a pop-up yoga studio. With international recognitions within the first 23 years of business, what did this brand do to spark controversy? The core value of Lululemon are personal responsibility, entrepreneurship, honesty, courage, connection, fun, and inclusion. It's the heart of the brand and its unique culture. However, it's hard to believe that this organization has faced many ethical issues over the years. The former CEO and founder had multiple controversial statements over the years. The most significant one was his support of child labor. Many stakeholders believed the brand was exploiting children after the statement. Its authenticity was in question when an advertisement of the new line, Vita C, a line of products claiming to be infused with seaweed to help support stress relief. The brand inspired by many values of Ayn Rand, which are independence, honesty, justice, and pride. Anyone who wanted to work for the brand needed to improve their personal development. The organization had new hires read books and make goals for themselves as they posted in the stores. By doing this, they created a competitive work environment. Some employees describe this as cult-like. The organization faced major quality control problems in March of 2013. They recalled 17% of their black Lulu yoga pants for being see-through. As a result, their stock plummeted more than 5%, and they lost $2 billion in market value. To further my statement on their former CEO, Wilson's controversial comment, he had this to say. He blamed the women's bodies for why the fabrics were shearing. And the final ethical argument against Lululemon, listening to customers in their stores and following their shopping habits. There is a fine line with this. However, training employees to eavesdrop on their customers to hear what they're complaining about crosses the line. If you're ever in a Lululemon store, look to see where the folding table is located. They're next to the dressing rooms, so they can hear your conversation and what you're complaining about. As you can say and tell, Lululemon has multiple ethical issues. From reviewing, we have selected 3 particular ones to analyze. Social issues that are affecting employees, misleading advertisements of their products, and lastly, customer service and how the organization is training their retail employees.
Hi, my name is Gregory Haynes, and I'll be showing you the ethical issues that Lululemon has faced over the years. One issue has been social issues. As you see on the screen, that is the CEO, Chip Wilson. He has made a lot of controversial statements that eventually led him to get kicked out as CEO of Lululemon. So one issue that he stated was that he said that divorce rates and breast cancer has increased due to smoking, the use of birth control pills, and stress amongst women. He has admitted that he chose the company name because he thinks it's funny the way that Japanese people have said it. He argued that third world children should be working in factories to get them out of poverty, and that got a lot of backlash amongst people in Western civilization, since people living in Western civilization do not like child labor. So for false advertisement, Lululemon released a pair of yoga pants years ago that they claimed use seaweed, and they claimed that this seaweed created a lot of health benefits for consumers that used it, and that got a lot of controversy amongst many people. So New York Times published an article, and they launched an investigation to see if these claims were true from Lululemon. And they found that there was no seaweed fiber in the product. And that resulted in the Canada Competition Bureau ordering Lululemon to remove any labeling with claims that stated that these products had seaweed fiber and it created health benefits from anyone who used it. So for customer privacy, Lululemon is known not to use big data techniques for customer information or customer service. So instead, what they do is listen to customers while they're shopping on the floor. And that has obviously created a lot of controversy since people do not like to get spied on without their notice. But Lululemon has claimed that these methods have improved the makings of their pants and improvements on the store. As I said, there's been a lot of critics, but the CEO, Christine Day, supports it as she's used the same method over the past few years.
Hello, I'm Antoinette, part of the Red Group, and I will be analyzing the ethical issues of Lululemon. As you can see so far, this fairly young company has been successful at bringing trendy athletic wear to thousands of men and women across the world. But what started out as a vision to deliver positive vibes through expensive yoga attire soon became a company plagued with unethical crises, many caused by the company's own founder himself, Chip Wilson. Our textbook talks about the importance of ethical leadership and its basic requirements to develop an ethical corporate culture. It lists 7 habits of strong ethical leaders. The first is that an ethical leader should have personal character. An ethical leader should have the passion to do the right thing, should be proactive, should consider all the stakeholders' interests. An ethical leader should be a role model for the organization's values, should be transparent and actively involved in decision-making. Ethical leaders should take a holistic view about the firm's ethical culture. So Wilson had a strong character, yes, but his passion was not to do the right thing for the company. He would ridicule women's bodies, that was unethical, and how they did not fit into the products that Lululemon produced. He would talk about it being acceptable for child laborers to work in third world countries. He laughed about making fun of the Japanese who had difficulty pronouncing the name of the company. According to our textbook, proactive leaders would acknowledge that unethical behavior and that it would hurt the company's stakeholders, the employees, the culture. And that did not make Wilson look very positive in the eyes of the consumer. Nevertheless, he did not care with his unethical behaviors, and he just lacked the ability to maintain a holistic view of what was desirable for the company's culture. Another point made in our textbook is about ethical conflicts and how those conflicts arise when decisions are made that go against the organizational goals. So when there's an ethical issue that needs to be resolved, the company has to determine who will fix the issue and how it will be handled. In the case of Lululemon, Chip Wilson, for the first 8 years, was tasked as the decision maker, as the CEO. But when their product hit a snafu with the transparent leggings, rather than apologizing and pulling the product, Wilson poked fun at the women wearing it and blamed the manufacturer instead. By 2005, Wilson realized that his unethical comments were hurting the company, and so he was asked to resign as the CEO. But for the next few years, he would still make comments to the media that were damaging to the shareholders, hurt the public image of the brand, and created strife amongst the board members. So a leader's duty is to use the RADAR acronym to solve ethical issues. The R is to recognize the ethical issue, A is to how to avoid them, D is to discover the risk areas, A is to answer the concerns, and R is the recovery. Using the strategy, as our textbook mentions, can help leaders control poor decisions and choices. So in 2014, when Wilson was fully removed as an executive from Lululemon, they assigned a new CEO by the name of Pat Deven. He joined the company, but by 2018, he too was removed. And there was a quote that was released by Lululemon that said, "Culture is at the core of Lululemon, and it is the responsibility of leaders to set the right tone in our organization. Protecting the organization's culture is one of the board's most important duties." Probably by then, the company had realized the damage that had been done with the culture, the ethical culture that had been developed over the years.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Herrera, and to go back to our three main points, Lululemon has clearly made some unethical decisions. Lululemon's public stance and support for child labor is unacceptable. A company's desire to lower production costs makes for good business sense. Where Lululemon makes their mistake is when they do so at the cost of the health and education rights of their underage workers. Though they claim to be an ethical company offering third world countries opportunities, they don't go full circle in their commitment to ensure proper means to an education, sustainable pay, and safe working conditions. When it comes to the advertising of their products, many of Lululemon's claims have been proven to be false. Selling cutting-edge products that help benefit their customers is something every business hopes to do. It's when these statements are blatantly false that Lululemon makes their mistake. Offering products with claims that don't hold up is false advertising. But to put it more simply, it's called lying to your customers. Finally, on the subject of Lululemon's customer service, their employee training and in-store practices are unethical. At first, it seems like Lululemon has an emphasis on gathering feedback from customers. Knowing what is selling, not working, and what needs to be improved is important for any business. In Lululemon's case, purposely placing folding tables near fitting rooms and reporting what's being said crosses the line. Asking for customer feedback is one thing, but this practice can be considered as eavesdropping and an invasion of privacy. It is clear that Lululemon's business has only grown since their humble beginnings, but at the cost of several unethical decisions.
Former Lululemon CEO Chip Wilson received several ethical violations within the past regarding his corporate views and statements. Lululemon's Vita C collection received backlash from several claims regarding misleading advertisement. The New York Times released an article claiming that with several tests done, they could not detect seaweed fibers within the product line. As a result, the company fired back, stating that labs in Hong Kong had performed several tests throughout the years and confirmed everything advertised was indeed within their products. Canada's Competition Bureau also challenged the brand's claims of health benefits, which came from seaweed, stating that it was unsustainable that you could prove that seaweed was giving health benefits within clothes, and ordered the company to remove that information from their labels. Lululemon also received criticism for its cult-like environment. Chip believed heavily in competitiveness, competition, and greatness based on his obsessions with Ayn Rand's values. Chip made his employees read books such as Hindu philosophies, Buddhist ideologies, which prompted egotistical motives. Unfortunately, the idea of competitiveness led to one employee brutally murdering another colleague after catching him stealing merchandise from within the company. Although not conducive, many critics believe this act was due to the corporation's cult-like and competitiveness culture that they've created, which led the company through a magnitude of ethical issues. The company received criticism for being invasive when understanding customer concerns. Lululemon believes utilizing technology to understand their customers' concerns was actually useless. They trained their employees to eavesdrop on customers' conversations throughout the sales floor, and even worse, inside the fitting rooms, which resulted in company backlash from customers believing the corporation might have taken things a little bit too far, revealing a fault within their privacy violations. Customers also had concerns regarding the two-sheer yoga pant. In 2013, Lululemon recalled $2 billion worth of merchandise from its shelves. A customer complained to the New York Times that an employee asked her to bend over to reveal the sheerness of the legging. The company immediately performed damage control and released a statement ensuring that this was in no way their policy. These examples have faltered the comfortability the company had formed with its customers. Lululemon should revisit its ethical policies, starting with its employees. Chip fostered a negative corporate culture amongst his employees from the very beginning. The CEO created an atmosphere where body shaming individuals was actually acceptable. Instead of body shaming, the company should have taken a more inclusivity approach rather than blaming women for their body frames. The company should speak out against child labor within the western parts of the world and its approach to improving working conditions within those factories. By doing so, the company can reveal its social responsibility to the entire world. They should also revisit their 7 core values, which are quality, product, integrity, balance, entrepreneurship, fun, and greatness within everything that they do. It would create a less competitive and a more unified culture amongst its workers and its stakeholders as well.